Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Occult Think Tank. My name is Greg. In this video, I am going to be talking about Jewish idioms and showing you a post from what I regard as a Christian idiot. As you can see, this person starts off with in Semitic idiom, even though it should be idioms. After all, I highly doubt they are claiming or even think that there is only one idiom in all of Judaism, and imagine that, it's about Jesus. However, the big issue I have with this is how it is worded. In Semitic idiom. Instead of saying Jewish, they say Semitic. The only thing I can conclude from this choice of words is an attempt to muddy the waters right off the top, which is actually a logical fallacy called poisoning the well. After all, what they go on to claim is not a Jewish idiom in any way. So far as I know, it isn't even a Semitic one, as there is nothing in any Semitic group that would even remotely apply to how long someone is considered dead. After all, death is a permanent condition, except, of course, in the ancient world, where rising from the grave seemed to be such a common thing. So common that you would have thought it would have made for at least a footnote in historical accounts by non-religious people. This idiom is certainly not referenced at all in the list of Hebrew idioms that you see before you. This is important as it is the basis of the claim that Jesus was somehow magically in the grave 3 days when he died Friday evening, with no exact time frame given, and rose Sunday morning, again with no specific time frame given. Christians need this bullshit idea as part of a day, no matter how small, can be called a full day, in order to explain the obvious blunder in their doctrine. The only area where part of the day matters in Judaism is with things like marriage or the annulment of a marriage and circumcision. In regards to sacrifices, however, which Jesus' death would have fallen under if human sacrifice was actually a thing in Judaism, which it never was, I find it ironic as hell how Christians need to support the idea of human sacrifice because that is the entire basis of salvation. Without human sacrifice, there is no shirking of personal responsibility. A far more accurate idea than without the shedding of blood is no remission of sin, given I have explained in multiple videos how in the Old Testament one could be forgiven without anyone or anything having to die. I am speaking of Ezekiel 18:21 for those that are a bit confused. However, regarding sacrifices, where daytime and the night that follows constitute one day, as from the Jewish Encyclopedia clearly states, clearly the rules regarding sacrifices are different than those related to other matters. Like the drinking of blood is not kosher, even if it is human blood or symbolic. But Christians can't be bothered with such pesky things like the command given in Leviticus 17:10 through 14 of do not drink blood. Not when it refers to some vile bit of bullshit from their golden calf Jesus, where he said, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. John chapter 6 verse 53. Ironically, there is a Hebrew idiom in that phrase. Son of Man is an idiom, and it means other humans. So, taking into account the idiom that was in that sentence, let's read it again with the idiom in place. So Jesus was telling you, unless you eat the flesh of other humans and drink their blood, you have no life in you. What was meant as a justification of their insane idea has turned out to completely piss all over the divinity of their beloved golden calf, Jesus. After all, it doesn't say Son of God, which in Judaism is an angel, by the way, not Jesus. Nothing in Judaism points to a half man, half God thing being God. In fact, the very idea is rejected in multiple places, not the least of which is Numbers 23:19, where it clearly states, God is not a man or son of man. And yes, once again, we see that Hebrew idiom, son of man, which means other human. And Jesus was a human being, because there is nothing in Judaism for magical conception or magical impregnation. It's just not a thing in Hebrew. Plus, after all, to say Jesus was a deity and had to die so you can be forgiven means Christianity is a deicide religion. Even though the killing of a god seems a bit of an oxymoron, because how does a mere human kill a god? Wouldn't that defy some godly law of godliness? This brings me to the bottom that has in it true Christian love, the threats of hell. These assholes can't not threaten people different than them with endless torture. That is, after all, the true message of their Lucifer Jesus. What this Miss Mel clearly doesn't realize is just how many times the God of the Bible, which is not Jesus and never was Jesus, actually said that he is the only Savior. In the Old Testament, the word Savior appears 13 times, and here are just a few examples of those passages. Psalms 106, verse 21. They forgot God their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt. Not Jesus. Jesus wasn't around in Egypt. Isaiah 43, verse 11. I, even I, am the Lord, and beside me there is no Savior. Isaiah 45:15. Verily thou art a God that hidest thyself, O God of Israel, the Savior. Isaiah 45:21. Tell ye and bring them near, yea, let them take counsel together, who hath declared this from ancient time, who hath told it from that time. Have I not the Lord? And there is no God else beside me, a just God and a Savior. There is none beside me. Hosea 13, verse 4. Yet I am the Lord thy God from the land of Egypt, and thou shalt know no God but me, for there is no Savior beside me. For someone that started out in Semitic idiom, this idiot is oddly ignorant regarding who is clearly called the Savior in the Bible, long before Jesus showed up or was made up to try and lie and claim to be a Savior when really he can't save anyone from anything. Because Jesus is not a God. He is at best Lucifer wanting to play God, acting like he is God when really the one that wants people to burn in fire, you know, the behavior the God of the Bible called a sin and an abomination and something that never entered his mind. Jeremiah 32:35. Miss Mel then claims the true Messiah, which is funny as all hell, considering Jesus fulfilled none of the criteria for Messiah. He did not have a Jewish daddy. He was not anointed king. He did not build the third temple. He did not spread the knowledge of the Jewish God to the world. And there are still wars, Miss Mel. Your Jesus is a total failure. If he's a true anything, he's a true failure. As for standing before him, that's an empty threat, given the God of the Bible, if it is real, isn't your stupid Jesus. And the God of the Bible called the Jews his chosen people. The Jews, not you Christians, that want to have your crimes washed away by thinking some dickhead died for them. What's more, everything I say about the Bible being in the Bible, I show is actually in the goddamn Bible. Unlike you assholes that constantly make claims of shit being in the Bible that I show in video after fucking video is not there at all. Oh yes, and you dickheads want to tell me about context while you ignore the context in order to push your no personal responsibility for me thanks cult of blood and death. But you make the false accusation that I spread lies. Miss Mel, I challenge you to show me in any video, give me a timestamp on the videos where I inaccurately say something is in the Bible. Because when I say something is in the Bible, I fucking show it. Unlike you dickheads that will make claims of things being in the Bible that I have shown in videos is not in the Bible at all. Unlike you Christians, I actually have integrity. I take pride in what I do to make sure that when I say something is there, I fucking show it to you. I will rub your nose in it. And that's what you Christians don't like. Feel free to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. Talk to you later, people.